It's Tuesday. It's the Betting Edge with the Prez. I'm him, Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media, owner of the Gold Sheet SportsMemo.com and WagerTalk.com. Today's show, Rob Veno and Drew Martin. Like always, we're going to talk about one NFL, one college football, one college basketball, and one NBA game. And a quick reminder to everybody, tomorrow's show is with Joe Ranieri and Rob Veno. It is our prime time show, and it is my favorite Betting Edge show of the week. It's probably the most fun show as well. Let's bring in our guests. Drew, that's no offense to you, my friend. I love doing shows with you, but man, that Wednesday show is fun.
Which Wednesday show are you referring to, Prez?
My one with Rob Veno and Joe Ranieri. It's called the Betting Edge Primetime. We take a look at all the primetime games for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. And it's just a show where we get to let our hair down, even though Rob Veno has perfect hair. He still lets it down a little bit.
Well, no offense taken, Prez. It sounds like a great show, and hitting all the primetimes games with those two guys is it sounds like great content. So no offense taken, man.
Rob, we'll hold you off for a sec. Drew, it's $2 Tuesdays at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Gianni the Greek is our $2 Tuesday handicapper. He's got a college basketball play up at WagerTalk.com for only $2. And he is 62% in college basketball since he joined us about a year and a half ago. So he's got a college basketball 4% play up at WagerTalk.com for our $2 Tuesday featured handicapper. What's going on at Sports Memo?
Yeah, Sports Memo, we got a bunch up right now. Check out the site, and including Alex B. Smith is the $2 handicapper, Prez. He's been hot on the ice. He has his 4% NHL play up at sportsmemo.com. We discounted it only to $2 plus. When you get that, you'll get a coupon code to get Mid-Major Matt's top play in college basketball. He's really hot as well, 16-9 in his 25 college basketball releases. You can get his top play for only $5 when you get the $2 play at sportsmemo.com. It will be in the analysis to get that. So if you want to double up, check it out at sportsmemo.com.
Rob Veno, you're rolling right now. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it's been good, Prez. I mean, college football has been good all season long since about the second week of September. Another winning week this past weekend, including the 5% overplay on Arizona State and Oregon State, which, you know, when you get the game over after three quarters, those are nice. So it's been good there. It's been good in the NBA on a 10-2 run in the NBA as well. So looking to keep everything rolling here, Prez, but it's been good so far.
Yeah, Rob, so thanks for sending me all of that. I made a promo for you. Not because you didn't send me a damn thing.
Yeah, it's in your mailbox, but I know you're a busy guy this morning, so you just didn't have a chance. And to your credit, I didn't send it till, an hour and 15 minutes before we started here, so I was probably a little late.
Yeah, to say the least.
It's in yours too, Drew.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll have a promo set and ready for you for tomorrow. I promise you that. Boys, let's get into it. One college football game. We're talking about Pittsburgh against Virginia Tech. Rob, you chose these games. You had to have done that for a reason. VT minus 3.5, 4, and over and under of 47. Where are you going in this game, my friend?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I chose it, Prez, because I was looking for competitive point spread games with meaning, and this one was one of the very few that had a competitive point spread and an awful lot of meaning. Here we have major implications in the ACC Coastal Division. Both of these teams still in it. If Virginia Tech wins this game, then their game at Virginia next Friday decides the division title and who goes to the ACC championship game against Clemson. If Pittsburgh were to win this game, they'd be in a 5-2 tie with Virginia for the lead, and they would need a Virginia Tech win over Virginia next week, as well as defeating Boston College themselves. So there's a lot on the line here. The Pittsburgh defense, guys, to me was the great separator when I went through the handicap of this. Pittsburgh's defense, number 11 in the nation. I think a lot would be surprised to know that, but that is the case. They lead the nation in sacks, 45 quarterback sacks. Their rush defense If you just look at their rush yards per rush allowed, you see the number of 2.8, but that includes the sack yardage. So, I went and did my work like our colleague at Sports Memo, Brent Crow, taught me way back in the 90s to go for true rushing yards, take the sack yardage out, and Pittsburgh is still only allowing 3.2 yards per rush. Very, very good run defense, stout. Like I say, overall quarterback sacks, they'll put pressure on Hendon Hooker. Virginia Tech, such a run-heavy team, guys. I think they have a little bit of trouble here moving the football. They're running at a rate of 66%. The play calling numbers are 66 to 34 in favor of the run with this team. That does include Hooker, who was installed as the starting quarterback way back in the beginning of October against Miami. I just think that they're going to have a little bit of trouble moving. I don't trust him as much as I trust Kenny Pickett throwing the football. I think the problem lies in the fact that it's a Virginia Tech home game, and Virginia Tech has, they're 5-1 against the spread last 6. Since Bud Foster night, they've been better defensively. Don't really like the schedule of opponents, though. So for me, it'd probably be Pittsburgh. This line has moved in favor of Virginia Tech, 2.5 to 4. But I think I would take Pittsburgh plus the 4. My numbers also indicated Virginia Tech should be about a 2.5-point favorite.
Drew, you with Rob on this?
Prez, I think I am. He mentioned, the Pittsburgh defense, and I don't think you can shy away from concentrating there. This is a team that played UCF outside of ACC play. They also played Penn State, so their out of conference has been pretty decent. Virginia Tech did give Notre Dame a pretty good run for their money just a couple weeks ago. Overall, I think it's an interesting handicap in the fact in this division in the ACC opposite of Clemson, one of these teams, Robbie, is likely going to go to the Orange Bowl as long as Clemson runs the table. So you can't really take motivation is not really a question when these teams are going up against each other. I kind of think that they're pretty likewise opponents, talking about all the teams in the division, including UVA in there as well. Just breaking down this game, though, 7-3 straight up, both teams. Pittsburgh 7-2 ATS. I think that really speaks towards their defense. They really get after the opposing quarterback. I think they're going to make it a long day for Virginia Tech offensively. Plus the fact Pitt just played last Thursday night against UNC, so extra preparation time I think helps the Panthers as well. And on the defensive side, all that pointing towards Pitt. The one thing keeping me off of betting the Panthers so far, anyway, is 5 straight ATS wins for Virginia Tech. That's something that I don't like to jump in front of. When one team has been on a heck of a run against the number, I hate stepping in front of that. So it is something to point me towards the Virginia Tech side. But overall, I do lean Pitt. I just haven't gotten there yet, Prez.
I hear you, my brother. Guys, real quick, Tony Finn. I'm going to be talking about him all week. I mentioned him on the Puck Time show, on the college football betting show. And, here's really the bottom line. We've got about close to 40 handicappers at Sports Memo and WagerTalk altogether. And over the last 6 years, nobody has been consistently better than Tony Finn. His NFL is utterly absurd. 6 years of handicapping NFL for us, 61% in 6 years. This season, he is 32-14. Think about that, guys. That's 70% on the entire NFL season. And 2 years ago, Tony laid down a 67% on the entire NFL season. He's also on a 12-4 all-sports run. He's 7-3 in college basketball. He's up profit in college football. He's 7-1, give or take, in NHL. But he is 4-6 in NBA, so he is losing in something. I took $100 off of his 1 month of plays. It's regularly priced at $325. You can have him for $225. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Use the promo code Tony225. Guys, Dallas going into New England, and I just want to stop and say a couple of quick things. I want to congratulate both. I want to congratulate Tom Brady on the most epic career anybody could ever have in the NFL or almost any other sport. It's over now. And I want to say the same thing for Phillip Rivers. Not as great a career as Tom Brady, but a potential Hall of Famer. And it's over now. With that said, look, New England's defense, they're ridiculous. They held a depleted Philadelphia team to 1 touchdown this past game. Should have been 2. I thought that Aguilar or whatever his name was could have or should have. If you touch the ball, you catch the ball. You're getting paid to do that. But look, New England, they keep finding ways to get it done. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. Find a bet where you can take anybody but New England. I'm off of their bandwagon. I like Dallas in this spot. Rob Veno, talk to me.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with the Dallas side here. That's plenty of points, 6.5. I lean more towards and scratch my head a little bit more over the move on the total,
Yes.
Prez. And I think that maybe that early move downward from 47 to 45.5 is attributed to some weather that's not really going to exist by the time this game kicks off. There's projected light snow showers, a little bit of rain early in the morning in Foxborough, but by the time 4:25 at night comes, you're going to have clear skies, about 35 degrees. New England's very used to playing in that. Dallas should be as well. So I don't understand the move towards the under, which is going to lead me right into this play. I think Dallas's offense is comparable to that of Baltimore's, which just scored 37 points on New England, and I might say 30 because one was a defensive return for touchdown, but 30 points is 30 points. Dallas with the great offensive balance, Dallas with the top-notch offensive line. Dak Prescott has mobility. It's not Lamar Jackson mobility where they actually design running plays for him, but those could be installed here. I mean, when Dallas goes over that New England film and sees some of that zone read the couple of times that Jackson ran it, they may stick that in for Prescott here to go with Ezekiel Elliott. I think that you hit on a good point about the Philadelphia team being depleted last week. The Eagles had both starting tackles out of that game. Lane Johnson and Jason Peters get hurt. They had no lead running back, Jordan Howard, out. They had no starting wide receivers, Alshon Jeffrey or Deshaun Jackson. So it was, fairly easy for New England to quiet the Philadelphia Eagles after they scored those initial 10 points. Here's what I think on the New England side, guys, and maybe Tom Brady is a bit past his prime. But from what I've seen the last few weeks and even back to last year, their best offense is up-tempo offense. In that Baltimore game, Baltimore had a big lead, and New England went to the up-tempo and actually had the Ravens on the ropes. They were going in the third quarter for the go-ahead touchdown when Julian Edelman had the ball ripped right out of his arms and returned 70 yards after a pass completion for a touchdown. It kind of was the deciding factor in that game. I think they'll use some up-tempo here against Dallas. Dallas, not quite the defense I think that Baltimore is right now. So New England should be able to score some. And if we get into some technical numbers real quick and some trends that have happened this season, the Dallas Cowboys, this current total of 45.5, they've gone over that number in 6 straight games. 8 of 10 of their games have gone over 45.5. So certainly that's a good lean towards the over there. They gave up a lot of points 2 of the last 3 weeks to Minnesota and Green Bay, 28 and 24. They gave up 27 last week to a Jeff Driscoll-led Detroit Lions team. So no reason why New England can't score here. There's a couple of injury concerns in the Dallas secondary for me. They lose a backup corner, Anthony Brown, which just shortens the depth and rotation. And strong safety Jeff Heath still a little bit banged up. So for me, guys, I can't argue the Dallas plus points, but I'd rather be on over 45.5.
Yeah, Drew, I am not with Rob at all on this over. I like the under a lot. In order for a game to go over 46 points, both teams have to score. I don't know how many touchdown passes Julian Edelman's going to make this week, but I know one thing. Tom Brady's going to miss a whole lot of wide receivers. He's going to overthrow him, underthrow him, sideways throw him. I think the New England offensive line is banged up mess. I think DeMarcus Ware, DeMarcus Lawrence and the Dallas front are going to get to him. I am so not with Rob on that total.
All right, guys. Well, Oh, wait a minute. So many different ways to go here, but I think I disagree with both of you.
You think it's going to land right on 46? Take 46 plus 700.
That actually would be a heck of a dice roll there. I'm going at this from a side perspective. And the reason I don't really like this total is because, New England, outside of the Baltimore game, they haven't let up more than 2 touchdowns all season long. This defense.
Nobody. They played nobody. The teams in the Grey Cup in 2 weeks are better than the teams they played. And when they finally played Philadelphia, no wide receivers, no running back, no O-line. Carson Wentz has a brain issue with throwing the ball. Yeah, throw all that shit out the window, dude.
We're almost coming. What week are we in the NFL? It's tough to just say they haven't played anybody.
Do you want me to go through their schedule for you?
I got their schedule up right here. I'm looking at it. They played Pittsburgh in week 1. That was before all of their injuries, right?
Yeah,
they played Miami.
Antonio Brown, no Le'Veon Bell. Big Ben is at the end of his career. He got injured halfway through the game. Okay, go on. Cincinnati, New York Giants, Miami,
the Philadelphia
Jets,
Eagles, which
Buffalo.
Everybody loves Carson Wentz. They held them to just 10 points.
They had nobody on their team.
All right, let's look at the Dallas side as well. Back-to-back road games. First time all year that they've had back-to-back road games. Kind of looking to fade that as well. And here's this pointing towards the overs. Dallas, 3 straight overs, 5 of their last 6 to the over. So whatever Dallas is doing, both offensively and defensively, leading towards the overs, mostly offensively. So you got to tip your cap there. Overall, I kind of disagree with you, Prez, in the sense that, putting Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady in the same kind of category as end of their year. At least Tom Brady, it plays with his head a little bit more. Phillip Rivers is just out there chucking it around.
Dude, I don't group those two guys together other than to say you're both old and you're both done. Joe Montana's done too, Drew.
Yeah, okay, but being towards the end of your career and being done. I think are two different things. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl.
He wasn't done, and he didn't win that Super Bowl. He happened to play on a team that won the Super Bowl.
That had a great defense. I know. So does Tom Brady. So they're kind of in the same.
Well, we don't actually quite know yet how good New England's defense is. They've played one team this year, Baltimore, and they put up 37. I keep interrupting you, but so I'm going to actually mute me. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Prez. Well, I will make, I guess, the final argument on New England to this point. They're 9-1 straight up. I guess you can make the argument they haven't played anybody. The ultimate equalizer is they're 7-3 ATS, so hitting at a 70% clip against the number. I would say they're still a little bit underrated off of that Baltimore loss, which a lot of eyeballs on that game. Had the bye, came back against Philadelphia, did win and cover. I give them credit for that. I would look towards New England here, under a touchdown at home, -6.5. You can even get a 6 out there. That's the way I would look at this game. I think the total, it's a little too tough for me with kind of both of your arguments. I think kind of contradicting each other, yes, but it's keeping me off of the total. So I like New England here, minus under a touchdown. Also want to give a shout out, you bring up Phillip Rivers in that his career likely over. I do agree with you, him chucking it around like that, those kind of stupid interceptions. But how about that atmosphere down there in Mexico City? What the heck is the San Diego Chargers doing trying to move to LA? I don't get it. They should be down in Mexico City, man. That atmosphere was awesome. You could hear the chants, that stadium. That they can definitely handle an NFL team, in my opinion. I think if I was that franchise, I would move down there to Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah, I would move to Toronto, but that's just me. You want to know the crazy thing, Drew and Rob? However against New England I am right now, I'm not going to bet that game because regretfully, it's still freaking New England. Oklahoma City playing the Lakers. Lakers are -11, total of 210. Rob, I'll go to you first. What do you like in this game?
Well, we know OKC is in a back-to-back situation. Very, very emotional loss last night to the LA Clippers. Of course, the big Paul George trade has guys from both teams now in different uniforms. And the fact that Paul George comes back to burn OKC, with a three-pointer with about 20-some-odd seconds left. And then Gallinari actually had a chance to return the favor but missed at the buzzer. Now you're going to play a rested Lakers team. It's their fourth home game on this homestand in 7 days, so they really have had a lot of rest. They've scored 120-plus points in 3 of their last 4 games. So, when you look at the tempo ratings, Prez, you find L.A. not really going quick, but extremely efficient so far this year, mainly because nobody can guard LeBron James or Anthony Davis. When you got 2 unguardable guys, it's not that hard to be efficient. The defense has been pretty good. They're 7-1 against the spread at home. If you look at their back-to-back situations this year, surprisingly, they're 2-0 against the number in back-to-backs, and they were both extremely high-scoring games. 228 and 240 were the totals on those games. The offensive matchups are going to work here for the Lakers, of course. But I think both teams are scoring real well at this point in time. There's a little article about a week ago where Chris Paul and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander decided that OKC needed to push pace a little more to be more effective. They've done that more recently, and they've begun to score quite a few of their games. For the Lakers, I think this price tag, as far as the total is concerned, is too low. 210.5 is basically giving more credence to their defense than their offense, basically giving more credence to OKC's defense than their offense, not really regarding the back-to-back situation for one side, the rest for the other side. Last night's game was very low scoring. And like I said, it was an emotional, draining effort. I don't expect Oklahoma City to have that type of defensive effort here, guys. So I think 210.5 in today's NBA, it should always catch your eye when playing overs. But in this particular situation, I think it fits. So I'm going to look at over 210.5.
Drew, unlike the Dallas Pats game, I am 100% with Rob on this over. I think it's super low. I think it's going to go into the 220s. I think I'm going to the window on this over. I will be betting this over. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think that looking towards the over, I love the stat, Robbie, that you pulled up, the back-to-back games. I'm 2-0 towards the over. I think there's something there to that, how teams play off the back-to-back, very important in the NBA. Also, the fact Oklahoma, yes, it is a back-to-back, but no travel here, just playing against the Clippers and then the Lakers, obviously in the same arena there. So overall, I think all of that pointing towards the over. And with the day off for the Lakers, I wouldn't see any of their superstars getting a rest day, any of their scorers anyway. I don't know, Robbie, maybe you can speak more to that, but as long as everybody's in the lineup, I like the over as well.
Yeah, we didn't see any load management warnings here for this one, Drew, so hopefully we get Davis and James both. You never know in the NBA, though, right? 5 minutes before tip-off, all of a sudden people aren't playing.
Yeah, I hear Ovechkin isn't going to play his next game. He's going to have a little rest, have a little nappage during the game, and I heard
it's carrying over to the NHL.
Connor McDavid tonight is not playing. He has a little boo-boo on his elbow, and he wants to have a little. I think he's going to a movie. Yeah, frickin' wimps in the NBA. Nevada +9 on the road playing Davidson. I heard the whole Nevada team is having a little nappage nap tonight because load management and all. It's so hard to play basketball for a living. Rob?
I'll go first. Yeah, I'll get in there, Prez. Steve Alford, the new head coach, obviously here. It's a brand new Nevada Wolfpack team, basically. They do have a couple holdovers who are worth noting. Point guard Lindsey Drew, who missed the entire season last year. If he had been part of that team, they may have gone on an even deeper run. And also sixth man Jazz Johnson, their premier sharpshooter from range. Both of those guys combined with a bunch of other pieces that Steve Alford's trying to put into the mix right now. Here's what this comes down to in my mind where fundamentals are concerned in this game. Nevada has a lack of interior presence right now. They just played USC. USC has a huge front line, and they destroyed the Nevada Wolfpack Saturday night, 42-10 inside the paint. So if you have a big conglomeration of guys, 2 forwards and a center, control boards and score at will against this team, you can beat them. Davidson now, they have one big guy, very effective one big guy, Luka Brajkovic, and they play their game. Bob McKillop, their head coach, said we have to play inside out. They lost their first 2 games. There's huge expectations for this Davidson team this year. They lose their first two. One was to Auburn. Drew must have made you happy. And the second one was to Charlotte. And they went to the interior in their most recent game. Work inside out because they have a lot of three-point shooters. It worked. But it's one guy. And I feel like Nevada here catching 9 and 9.5 points against a team with only one big man. And considering that they only lost to USC by 10, the paint numbers are what they are, 42-10, but the final score is also what it is, 76-66. They came close. Here they're getting 9 against Davidson. They're kind of mirror what Davidson is, mostly a perimeter team, little difference in pace, but other than that, they're about the same team. They play a little quicker. I think they'll be able to play quicker. The 4 teams Nevada played, when they played them, they all came in undefeated. So they played a decent schedule, as has Davidson. I thought the points were a little high. I think Nevada on the road worth a look. And we saw a pretty sizable push toward the over in one shot, guys, right across the board. The screen went red from 143.5 to 146. People like the over. I couldn't disagree with that move either.
Drew, talk to me about this game, brother.
Sidewise, Davidson played Auburn, like Robbie talked about, which is just in the state of Alabama, then 2 North Carolina schools. So their travel situation a lot better than Nevada. Nevada's going from Saturday night playing USC at home, then going here on Tuesday to the state of North Carolina. That's where Davidson is. And then moving on to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I have Nevada circled here as travel spot-wise, maybe looking to fade. However, bringing this number of 8.5, I'm kind of with Robbie in terms of matchup-wise. I think it might favor the Wolf Pack a little bit here. But even more so, I like this game from a totals perspective. We're looking at this Nevada team. It's kind of a tough read in terms of pace-wise, how they're looking to play it. So far, 2 overs, 2 unders so far, but more towards the Davidson side. Hell, UNCW, that's North Carolina Wilmington, under 50 points in their last game, just sitting at 49 points. In all 3 games this year, going under the total by a wide margin here. So I have Davidson actually circled as under. Betting this team under the total. I could see that happening again here. Robbie talked about, their profile of offense, throwing it down, trying to get the in the paint points, and then, dishing it back out for 3 points. Usually that profile, takes a lot of the shot clock time off. And if you're not hitting your threes, tends to fall under the total. So I have Davidson circled as an under team. And tonight, actually looking to bet this one under.
He's Drew Martin, Rob Veno with us. Both can be found at sportsmemo.com. And, guys, Green Bay is playing San Francisco on Sunday night. I'd love to talk about this, but I heard Aaron Rodgers is on load management and will be missing the game.
Well, good thing, Prez, none of us 3 are on load management, so that's all that counts.
Frickin' wimps in the NBA. I'm the Prez. He's Drew Martin. He's Rob Veno. That's it for today. Make sure to check out Puck Time with Carmine Bianco and Alex B. Smith. Also, the college football betting show is up with Dave Koken and Teddy Covers. And guys, you have to use the promo code Tony225. 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 $225 for a month of all his plays. There's nobody better in the space. Boys, thanks so much for your time today. And Rob, I will see you tomorrow with Joe Ranieri on the Betting Edge Primetime Edition.
Absolutely, Prez.
Best
We'll
of luck,
get with
guys.
you then.